Hello everyone, my name is Smithy and welcome to my guide on demonic gorillas. Now, demonic gorillas are great because you can do them for black demon tasks. One small thing that you need before doing any of this and listening to anything that I've got to say, you need to have done Monkey Madness 2 to unlock them. Yeah, once you've done that, you're good to go. So, first of all, second of all, I should say, don't get distracted by the gear setup I'm currently using. We'll be going through alternate things that you can use instead of, like, oath plate legs. Don't worry about that. You do not need them. The main things you're going to need are a melee switch and a range switch. Now, there's been a update probably about a year ago now, to be fair, to demonic gorillas that have made them that bit easier. So you don't need to worry about accidentally tagging a couple of them and they rinse through your supplies. They're now quite passive and they don't aggro as soon as you walk into the room. Now, you might notice that we've only got a weapon switch. You do not need to go in with a million different items. You can if you want, but there's no real point, to be perfectly honest. Like I say, range switch, melee switch. Now, I would highly recommend bringing the Emberlight because they are demons and the Emberlight is the best demon weapon that you can use. And then I've got a Dragon Defender pairing with that as well. You could use a Fang, for example. You could just use a Arclight if you've got that. But yeah, you really want to be using the Demon Bane weapons because they really are effective there. Same for the ranged weapon as well. We've got a Scorching Bow. You can replace that with a Rune Crossbow, a Bowfer if you've got one. You know, if you don't have a Scorching Bow, but you've got a Bowfer. Rune Crossbow's fine. Magic Shortbow's fine. Especially if you've got the imbued Magic Shortbow. That is actually quite good. But yeah, we just need a range switch. We just need a melee switch. And now from our actual gear setup, Slayer Helm. Should be wearing a Slayer Helm if you're doing Slayer tasks. But you can do Demonic Gorillas off task. But it is a good hybrid helm. Maybe replace that with a Nezzy helm or a face guard if you've got one of those and you're not on task. Then for a necklace, you could use a Fury, you could use a Glory, really. I use an Anguish because just for the extra DPS on range, because I do find you range more in the fight than you do melee. But that's probably just RNG based. But yeah, I've got an Anguish. Again, you could use a Fury instead. Then I've got the highest Ava's assembler, or Ava's device, I should say. It's just got a Missouri kit on it, which makes it look a bit like a pedal bin. But that is what that is there. It's just, you know, Ava's assembler. I use rune arrows. You could use broad arrows. They're fine. But obviously replace that with bolts if you are using a crossbow. Then I've got a Carol's top because it is a tanky range body. Don't forget that... Oh, I've just accidentally punted my microphone and it started flying. Don't forget that Ava's devices only work if you're wearing a range top. Someone might correct me on that there's a specific use case where that's not the case, but range top, Carol's leather top, tanky, and yeah, it's a good range item, for lack of better words. Oath plate legs. I recommend bringing tank legs. You could use a Verax skirt, for example. Rune plate legs are fine. But I've got oath plate legs. Obviously, you could use a Bando's tassets as well. But you just need something tanky for your legs in melee because it's going to help out with your melee setup. Now, I've got the Arania boots on because they are quite a nice hybrid boots. You could use Brimstone boots, for example, for another hybrid item. Or you could use the Primordials or Pegasians, depending on what you have. And then you can dial that down. Fighting boots are fine if you're a lower level. Or dragon boots, perfectly fine as well. Perfectly fine. Then I've got Barrow's gloves. You know, it's just a hybrid gloves. I'd recommend Barrow's gloves for these. Or if you want to extend your Slayer task, you could use bracelets of slaughter, not slaughter bracelets. They would extend out your task if you are going for Zenites. And then for my ring, I've got a light bearer because I like using the specs on the Scorching Bow just to freeze them in place when maybe it switches to a melee and I want to keep it a little bit away and hopefully get it to force it to change into a range or a mage attack, so to keep the distance. But yeah, you can replace that with Berserker Ring if you want. You could use Explorer's Ring for the prayer bonus, and also you get the alchables on it as well, the function on that. But yeah, that's pretty much the setup. It's pretty straightforward, tanky, with a range of the melee switch. the too long didn't read. Inventory wise, I highly recommend bringing the Ash Sanctifier. If you don't know what that is, it works exactly like the Bone Crusher, but instead for ashes. Because they're demons, they drop ashes, not bones. This automatically scatters them for you, so you get some passive prayer XP. Then I've got my Royal Seed Pod, which is the teleport I actually use to get to Demonic Gorillas. And when I sod off after my trips and go and restock, replenish my prayer and everything and health, I use that to get back here. Then I've got my Rune Pouch, which I have my House Teleport, and also my Lumbridge Teleport, because all of my alkaballs and stuff I have been dropping off in Death's Coffer, because I'm currently working on the Colosseum grind. So yeah, just topping up the old coffer, and yeah, it works out better than Alkin, to be perfectly honest. But if you need the money, you don't need that. Bring Nature Runes instead, or bring Nature Runes on top of, you know, these runes. Then we've got a Super Combat, Range Pop, Standard. I bring 6 prayer pots, and then all of this food. I just bring Karambons because I've got loads of them. You can bring whatever you like. Sharks, monkfish, manta rays, whatever you like. They do hit quite hard when they do hit. So I would recommend bringing some decent food, not just like lobsters. You could probably get away with lobsters, but bring a fair amount of them. And then I just find this works for me when I'm doing my trips with the ratio of prayer pot to Karambons. But anyway, that's enough for me yapping about inventories and shit. How do we get there? So we've currently teleported in on our seed pod, which drops us here. We come through the door, and we're going to be heading over to where that tile was marked, just over there. You'll recognise this if you've done Monkey Madness 2. It's exactly where that is. So we're going to head over here. You can pass through the opening here. If we hop on over. And we run on down through the crash site. And we're going to enter the cavern entrance over here. So we run on down. Don't worry, you won't walk into the fire, I promise. If anyone does, well done, you managed to break the game. And then we're going to click over on this area over here. Like I said, they're not aggressive anymore, so you don't need to worry about getting tapped by 3 of them as you run through. Don't need to pray anything. And we're going to move over. I quite like this section over here. It's quite busy down here today. I quite like this section over here. But anyway, so what I like to do first is keep my distance when I'm about to attack, because it has 3 attack styles. It can attack with range, it can attack with mage, and it can attack with melee. You want to keep your distance on the first so you can judge what you need to pray. I always find that I pray range first, and I attack with range first, even if it is praying range like it is now. Now we're going to look. Okay, so when it's firing those green blobs, that is its mage attack, and it will do 3 attacks, and then it will switch. It does that rah. It's now switched to its melee. And if you are keeping your distance, because we've had to pull up close because it's using melee, well, we can now see, and you've got to watch out for these boulders that will drop. This is now using mage again. Just watch out for the boulders. There's no way to pray against those, and they will hit you quite hard. And we go in close again. You see, it'll do 1 more attack, and then it will switch. I'm going to see if it's going to be... You can step away to see if it will drag. It's not, and that is its range attack. It picks up a stone and throws it from the ground. It's changed its prayer as well. Okay, because we've got our distance, we can see that it's not going to be a melee, and it will never switch back to the same attack style either. So if it was a range before, it's not going to be range again. It'll always be mage or melee. And you see there, where we kept our distance, we could see it started charging towards us to get a melee hit in. We knew that it was going to be a melee attack. So now we can, recharge our prayer, pick up our loot, and we're good to go again. So we've got one here. Like I said, keep your distance. We're going to fire off an arrow, and we can judge what it's going to be. So if it's not going to run towards you, it's either going to be mage or range. We can see, because we've done a certain amount of damage, we've now switched what attack style. Because it didn't come charging towards us then, we know that it's going to be a range attack, because it was already a mage attack. If it was going to be a melee, it would start charging towards, like, I'm going to get you. But it didn't, so we're good. Now step away, and you see it's coming towards us. We know it's going to be a melee. And when we do a little bit more damage, there we go. We can now switch over to melee. If we step away, is it going to charge us? No, but it was already on melee, so I didn't need to do that. And one more attack, and it probably will... Oh, no, because it's done the rock. There we go. Step away. Is it going to follow us? No. So it's going to be a range, and we just finish off the kill. Yeah, fairly straightforward. Once you get in the hang of it, it does, it can be a little bit of a teething thing with demonics, especially if you've never done them before. But rule of thumb, when you're starting off the fight, step away or keep your distance, fire off an arrow, even if it is pray and protect from range, just to judge if it's going to run towards you or if it's going to be a mage or range attack. Obviously, once you figure that out, get charging in there with your melee and start doing some damage. And then when you do switch to range, step away, and you'll be able to then judge for when it does switch its attack style, whether it's going to be, if you're already praying mage, if it's going to switch to a range, or again, if it comes charging towards you, it's going to be a melee. Same with if it was a range, step away. If it's going to be mage, it will stand still and can just switch his attack. But if it is a melee, it will run towards you. If you're on melee and it's either going to be a range or a mage, there's no real way to judge it. You've just got to guess. But I hope you guys have found this video useful. And if you are new around here, please do consider subscribing and drop a like as well. And yeah, good luck on your Zenite grind. Good luck on your Ballista grinds. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.